Hi everyone, it's Alex Sparks here from Sparks Finance and I'm your local mortgage broker in Bathurst. Today's video is about building home equity. Okay, now this is a fancy word you hear. Now what is equity? Equity is essentially the part of the property that you own. So say for example you had a house of 600,000 and your loan was 500,000. Theoretically you now have $100,000 in equity. Now people can use equity, they can release equity and use it for things to buy cars or a boat or another house, right? So a lot of people look at equity to try to plan ahead, okay? Or maybe they'll want to look to upgrade their property, use their equity to buy an investment, whatever that might be. So people do keep a close eye on equity just to see how they're tracking with it. But what we'll do is just run through some simple ways to build that equity over time to make sure that you do have that flexibility when you do it. Now, this is really prevalent for people, in particular, like the hardest part about getting into the property market is saving the deposit, okay? That's the hardest thing, and I always take my hat off to these people, all these first home buyers that have saved hard for a deposit. They finally get in there and they get that deposit and they can get their home. Generally speaking, once you save your first deposit, you shouldn't have to save another one full. You can use your equity after you've paid the loan down over time. You can use the equity to then go and do other things, like I mentioned before. So equity is a really important thing within the home buying process once you get that loan, to make sure that once again will give you flexibility moving forward. So the first way to build equity is really through like renovations or aesthetic changes to the property. So, a lot of people, yes, you may go into a property and go, I want to put another bedroom on there, and therefore, that might increase the value from a 3-bedroom to a 4-bedroom potentially, okay? Now, depending on how much those renovations cost will therefore, determine how much your property is actually, worth and how much equity you actually have there, because you might be increasing the loan. But renovations and aesthetic changes can be a really useful tool to make sure that you can increase the value of the property and therefore increase your equity. People think that renovations have to be big. We're knocking down walls, we're building other rooms, but renovations and refreshments can be simple things. Like if you're in that sort of price range of that 500 to 600,000, for example, you're looking at houses that are a little bit older, okay? That's okay, look for the diamond in the rough. You go in there and pick somewhere with green walls, all right, with red carpet, great, no worries, because it doesn't take much money to redo paint, redo carpet, okay? And then all of a sudden it looks like a brand new place because the property has good bones, okay? Now, when we look at renovations or refresh, whatever you want to call it, okay, going in the main ones that move the needle the most are going to be things like if you can paint the place, paint the front of it so the front looks good, paint the kitchen banks top, put in blinds. All of a sudden, those simple things that might not cost more than $10,000 automatically might increase the property value by $20,000, $30,000 depending on the location and the type of property itself. So simple things like that can therefore build an extra $20,000 overnight, assuming you're that quick in doing it, because I wouldn't be, because I'm terrible with all that kind of stuff, but you know what I mean. So they're the little ways that you can build equity within the properties, just by doing simple things like that, refreshing the property to make sure that it's more attractive for people. So, instead of buying that old rundown sort of dingy property, although still got really good bones and structure, by simply making those adjustments to that property, the value will increase more than you actually think, because it is now looks like a more attractive property and it's in a lot better condition. Next one, simple things to do to build home equity is simply just making your repayments fortnightly or weekly. By doing this, you can save anywhere up to 5 years or more off the life of your loan just by making that simple change. Because you're making that that payment weekly or fortnightly, you're attacking the principal faster, and therefore over the year you're going to make an extra repayment on that loan because, as I said, of the frequency around payments. So the bank wants you to pay those monthly repayments, but if you can simply just change those to weekly or fortnightly, more than likely that's going to help you with your cash flow within your family anyway. But really important tool, as I said, you'll pay that off and therefore you'll see your equity increasing a lot more because the principal of your home loan is going to be a lot less faster, okay? That's a really simple way. The next one is to use offsets and redraw. So an offset account is basically an account that's attached to the loan. Any money in that offsets the loan balance, therefore you pay less interest. So for example, if you have a loan of $500,000 and you have $50,000 sitting in the offset account, instead of paying interest monthly on the $500,000, you're paying interest on 450, and every repayment that you make is coming off the principal of that property. So therefore you're paying that down faster, therefore paying less interest. So it's attacking more of the principal, therefore building more equity in that over time. Now, a redraw works basically the exact same way, but it's just on the loan account rather than being a separate account, but the principles remain the exact same. So the more money that you can put in your offset or redraw account, every repayment that you make will be paying down the principal faster, therefore building equity within the home. So the last way to build equity within the property is a thing that not many people like to hear, but it is patience, okay? Patience is where it is at. Patience will allow, historically, the properties will historically increase over time and your loan will slowly decrease over time, therefore creating that effect and therefore have more equity within the property over time. Although, you know, some people like to push that by doing the other things mentioned above, but patience is the main way to do it. As I said, you know, the more that you can pay off your home loan at the start in the first sort of 5 years, the quicker that equity will increase, because the principal of your home loan will be decreasing at a faster rate, and then hopefully the market within your range will therefore increase as well. So your property may go from, you know, if you had a loan of $500,000 and you know you bought it for $600,000, you have $100,000 equity. If that property then goes up from $600,000 to $700,000 and your loan goes to $450,000, you've then got $250,000 in equity because the loan's going down and the value of your property is going up. So these are just some simple ways to have a look at home equity, but patience is the tried and tested #1 way to do it. If you can make the fortnightly repayments, use your offset and redraw effectively by putting extra money on top of the loan, making extra repayments onto those, that is how you can build up equity and then look to, you know, upgrade or access the money for whatever it might be. Okay, so home equity is something that, as I said, you know, don't stress about. You know, we can create a plan for you to say, well, you know, most likely in this time period, we might be able to access equity to do X. If you want to look to upgrade or buy an investment property, have a chat to us early, and then we can sit down, run those numbers, see how much equity you would need within that property to buy what you want. But all in all, you know, home equity is something that will tick along naturally, but keeping an eye on it is always a good idea just to see where you're at. But if you guys have any questions on building home equity, or you want to do something with your current equity that's in your property, simply just let us know. We can run through those options for you, and hopefully provide you a good path moving forward. Awesome. Thanks very much, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.